It's the end of the week and it's finally time to take out the trash. Okay, it's been another garbage week and we've got some garbage people for you. Brett, who is your garbage person of the week?
My garbage person of the week is Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's Fox News host. He's the kind of Fox News host that wants to take 7 minutes out of his show so he can talk about whether the first lady's doctorate means anything. And he's gonna take a bunch of quotes out of context. But let me just first show you a little bit before I tell you what he did after this that made it get even stupider.
Imagine your nightmare health emergency. You're on vacation with your family when suddenly you double over with shooting chest pains and lose consciousness. You wake up strapped into the back of an ambulance, racing to the emergency room. Paramedics hover over you, trying to keep you calm. You've had a massive coronary, they shout over the sirens, but we're gonna take good care of you. You're about to see one of the best doctors in the country. In fact, Whoopi Goldberg just said this person should be the next Surgeon General. So you slump back onto the stretcher, deeply relieved. Maybe you're gonna make it after all. Moments later, they wheel you into the hospital, and there she is, the famous doctor they just told you about. But something's wrong. She doesn't have a stethoscope. There's not a chart or an EKG machine in sight. Instead, she's turning on what appears to be an overhead projector. "Jill," a nurse yells, "there's a patient here. What do we do?" "That's Dr. Biden to you," the woman replies icily.
That is the dumbest thing he has literally ever said. And he has said a lot of really dumb stuff. That's one of the most condescending things I've ever seen in the news, I think.
It is.
That's
a
amazing.
7-minute, 40-second segment that he did about Jill Biden's doctorate. And okay, so this never happened. This would never happen. That whole setup, his hypothetical situation doesn't happen. And he spent that much time setting up something.
Really? Does it not happen?
No, because it doesn't.
Wheel you in and there's.
But it's like, it would be ridiculous if someone was choking and someone in a room yelled, "Is there a doctor?" And Jill Biden responded, "I am a doctor of education. I can't help you." This is all a waste of time. But you know what? It's Jill Biden. It just wouldn't happen. She would sit there and wait for a medical doctor to step up. And this is like the very specific thing. Everyone knows what you're talking about when you say Dr. Jill Biden. Like, and because they've known it. And they're trying to talk trash on someone who just did a doctoral dissertation. Why are we having this conversation? Why? Because there's nothing else for him to talk about. There's plenty that he should be talking about, but he has decided that it is more beneficial for him to have a 7-minute, 40-second hate sesh against Dr. Jill Biden because she never insisted that you call her a doctor. Like the levels detached from reality it has become. Mm-hmm. It's intensified in its detachment from reality because she, like when they introduce her, this all, for people who aren't familiar, this all started with a Wall Street Journal op-ed by a guy who received an honorary doctorate and hasn't used it essentially in 20 years, and is saying that because he himself got an honorary doctorate that meant nothing, that Dr. Jill Biden's educational doctorate, for which she wrote and defended a dissertation, she shouldn't call herself doctor. Since then, everybody's insisted that what Jill Biden is doing is running into rooms where people say Jill Biden, opening them and saying it's Dr. Jill Biden, closing them and running away. That's not happening. Like at the DNC, they say Dr. and President-elect and Dr. Biden. Yeah, and Dr. Jill Biden, like that's it. It's in a formal situation. As on a business card, it will say I'm a lawyer, Esquire. On her business card, it says Dr. Jill Biden, ED.D. Like that's it. That's how she's a doctor. She knows that. But they are all creating this fake situation where these libs are being elitist. Mm-hmm. And people like, wait, I'm not playing it now, but Ben Shapiro was like, she's not an elitist. I went to Harvard.
Exactly. That's a weird, God. Yeah, so she had no part at all in any of this. But you need an opponent to have a fight. So this rando guy decides to attack her for being called doctor, which she doesn't insist on. She doesn't respond to that. The only response, the only opposition has been from a few other people who are like, oh, hey, by the way, doctorates are still tough to get. It's not the same as a medical doctor, but it's still tough. And that's enough that now that has become like a 2-week thing for the right to obsess over, because there's a goal. The goal is, I want to deliver hatred for this person because my fans want to see that this person's a bad thing and they want to hear me attacking them. And if there was something good to do that, like if she had been running into rooms and telling people, you got to call me doctor, they would use that. But they don't have that, but they need to pretend that they do. So they just come up with, all of a sudden it's now an issue that people are called doctor, even though, as many people are pointing out, that hasn't stopped him from referring to Sebastian Gorka as doctor 1.5 million times. And you know why? Because this is not actually Tucker Carlson expressing a position. His position seems to be that we shouldn't call people doctors if it's not a medical doctorate. That isn't what it is. He just doesn't like Jill Biden, and he knows his audience won't. Like, this is what the conservative media is. They can take this entire thing, and depending on who it is, their entire approach to it is totally different, knowing that their audience isn't gonna notice or care about the hypocrisy. They weren't like mad for the last year as Sebastian Gorka was being referred to as doctor. And next week when Gorka's on Tucker's show and they call him doctor, they're not gonna care then either. This is so entirely devoid of any actual opinion other than her last name's Biden and so I hate her. And I kind of also hate education too, although I don't mind when my right-wing media people went to some nice school or whatever. It's just so fake. It's so entirely fake and BS. He's an elitist who has to occasionally pretend to be attacking the elites because he wants to be seen as some kind of populist. It is the most fake right-wing populism imaginable, and that is saying something because fundamentally it doesn't actually exist.
In the rest of his segment, he goes through and says like so he assigned someone, very obviously, either he assigned someone or he did it himself, to go read Jill Biden's dissertation. And in one of his like key things is just wildly misunderstand. She's like it's a point where he says like, in a class, 2/3 or 3/4, 75% of the people are white and the other, quarter are African American and there's a quarter Latino or something like that. And he's like, problem solved, she doesn't do math right. It's like, no, on censuses, you have to say black or white, and then subset of, it's like, are you Hispanic?
Yes.
Are you like, Native American, Latino, black, Latino, white, Latino?
He's an idiot.
And it's like, and he's like, I got you. And it's like, no, that's not how any of this works. And now he's going through, and he says that this dissertation is a national disgrace, essentially. I don't know if it's those exact words, but it's on par with her, Dr. Jill Biden, being called a doctor and having this dissertation is a national disgrace. Meanwhile, okay, great, got it. Now I'm gonna go back to giving like a full, tongue down of the president, windmill cancer, covfefe. Like that's what he does. So which is it?
Well, and by the way,
it's wildly inconsistent.
If you're a conservative and you're watching this, if Melania had a doctorate, would he be attacking her for having a doctorate? No, nobody. It feels so pointless sometimes talking about the news because all of it is just so obvious. We can all see the matrix. The code is in front of us. We know every bit of what his audience is thinking, every bit of what he's thinking, every bit of what Fox executives are thinking. All of it is just so obvious. He doesn't care about anything that he's saying. It's just grift. And it fits into the long-running anti-intellectualism, which we need to be on the watch for, because that's not just the conservatives that are doing that. But yeah, the entire thing is just so damn frustrating. It's all so fake. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.